violence, and we'll tell you more about that.
Also coming up in today's show, just weeks away now from the Manulife Financial LPGA Classic that's happening at Grace Island Water. It's going to be huge, even bigger this year, because last year was the first time around. There's such a buzz this time because things went so well. And so much of a buzz that there are people like me who now think, I want to play more. I want to learn more. I want to do more. So on today's show, we're going to be giving you kind of a top 10 reasons why golf, why you should be golfing, and particularly for women, because this is the women's tour that's coming.
Okay.
And you know the spin-off effect from that. So many women start to look and think, you know, maybe I should pick up the clubs. Maybe I should play.
Anytime I do, I enjoy it. I just don't get out enough to get better. And one of our guests actually gave me instruction too. And I got to a point where I thought, okay, I want to get out. And I just didn't get out a whole lot.
You and I will put it on our to-do list for the summer.
Susan, golf is the glass ceiling for me. Because you know, in business now, golf is a glass ceiling. If you don't golf, you miss out on so many different opportunities to be in deals and managers and everything that get out on the course.
There are so many things that are deals that are closed, things that happen, discussions that happen on a golf course. And that's part of what we'll talk about on today's show. You know, there seem to be two types of people. Those that are so passionate about the game of golf, they've got to catch every tournament. They want to be out there every day they possibly can. And those that kind of stand back a little bit and say, I don't get it. I don't quite get it, what the allure is. Well, we're going to give you some reasons why you should try the game of golf this year, particularly with the Manulife Financial LPGA Classic in our own backyard starting on July the 10th. We've got a couple of key organizers of that event joining us today. Connie Deckert and Ingrid Schiller are here. They're co-chairs for the Manulife Classic Pro-Ams. That are coming up. Let's start there, Connie, the Pro-Ams. What exactly is that for people that don't know?
Okay, it's a chance for amateurs to play with one of the professionals. It's a thrill of a lifetime, and it's the ultimate golf lesson. So on Monday, there's a Pro-Am that benefits St. Mary's Hospital. And then on Wednesday is the corporate Pro-Am, where there's probably twice as many people.
Wow. And I'm betting for people that are, you know, the everyday golfers that get that kind of opportunity, it takes your love of the game from about here to off the charts once you get a chance to play with these people, Ingrid, that are playing for their profession, first of all. But the more you learn and the more tricks of the trade you can get from them.
Absolutely. Last year we actually had kind of first-time golfers out there that participated in the Pro-Am and really got the flair, the knack for the game of golf. And just the experience, as Connie mentioned, being on the field, you know, on the course with a pro that's out there. It was just an unbelievable experience. And the best part of it, it's all for a great cause for the St. Mary's Hospital, as Connie mentioned. So it's a win-win for all.
Which is wonderful to see that money coming back into the community and supporting people who live right here. You know, we know from professional sports as a whole that when the Olympics come, when the big tournaments come, you see this reciprocal effect that happens into the community where all of a sudden kids want to try soccer, they want to try baseball, they want to try bobsled, you know, whatever it is at the time. It's same sort of thing starts to happen with golf. And because we have the women's, the LPGA Classic coming here, I'm going to assume that we start to see a bit of a reciprocal effect of women thinking, you know what, it's time I try this. It's time I get out on the course.
And one of the great things, absolutely, and one of the great things the LPGA does is allow kids 15 and under in the to attend the tournament, no charge.
Really?
And that's just fantastic, because that's the future of our game. And Brittany Lang was in town, I think, last week for a media day, and Ingrid and I were out there, and lots of, you know, kids this high watching her hit some shots down the practice range.
They become the ambassadors and the people that we look at and think, okay, someday, maybe someday that could be me. But even for somebody like me that's a little beyond thinking that could be me someday, but thinking, you know what, I want to get out there and I want to improve my game. You've come up with a top 10 list of why golf, why it's more than just getting out there and hitting a ball around, but the importance of golf per se.
Well, it's a phenomenal mental game. It's like chess on grass, because you don't just go out and hit the ball. You try and plan your route around the golf course, and we have intent, but the result doesn't always match the intent.
No, it doesn't, Connie.
And it's intergenerational, it's very social, and it's good exercise.
Well, and that's one of the reasons that I've wanted to improve my game. I'm married to a man who's passionate. He loves golf. He doesn't get out nearly enough for his liking, but he would like to play more. And I think, you know, our kids are a little bit older. This is a great sport that the two of us could get out, Ingrid, and enjoy together out there.
Absolutely. It's a family event, actually, this year, as a matter of fact. Courtesy of Blackberry, they're doing a village for the little ones. I'm not sure exactly of the ages, but it's a new addition, as you mentioned. Last year was the first year. This year, we've kind of, you know, got together and said, well, what we had and what we're looking for. So that's the one thing that we're adding to it, and as well as a big appreciation for all the volunteers. We have over 1,400 volunteers on the course for the week.
That's incredible.
Before and after, set up and tear down. So very fortunate to have that. So
Back to golf, that I think is unlike any other sport. That, you know, when you put out the call for volunteers, it's probably boom, 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 boom. People are there because they're drawn to that.
Well, the tournament here, the LPGA asked the tournament here to open the volunteer request months early because they were afraid they wouldn't get the volunteers. They didn't know Canadians, they didn't know this region. We had 1,500 volunteers within 30 hours. The LPGA has never seen it fill up that fast.
Wow.
I think the return rate this year is 72%.
about there, yes.
Which
yeah.
is way above what happens in the U.S.
Incredible.
The return rate in the U.S. is about 50%. We have some volunteers that are working our tournament, and they're also working the RBC Canadian Open.
You're kidding.
Oh, and our
You know, and I think kudos to the return rate being that high. When you think back to last year's tournament and how hot it was out there, and I know that the volunteers, and you were very careful with them, making sure that they were hydrated because they were spending some long days out there. You know, to be that enamored by this tournament that they're back again, I think that speaks to the work that you did with them.
Well, golf's a fantastic sport. You get to spend, depending if you're playing 9 or 18 holes, you're with somebody 2.5 hours, or maybe 5 hours. You get to know them. And you play golf with people you want to be with. You don't play golf necessarily with people that are of the same skill level. You play golf with people that are fun.
Well, and that's part of it, you know, it's a group activity. So
Right.
it's fun to go out. It's not that individual sport. You're there with other people. So that social activity, that group activity. And it's also a sport. I've talked to people who've said, you know, you just whack a ball and then you walk. There's not much to it. I know after training with you, there's a lot more to it, and there are muscles that hurt after I'm done working out because I haven't warmed up properly.
That's it, and that's one reason for people to get instruction, is so that they won't injure themselves. I see stuff every day at the range that just makes me cringe, and people can hurt themselves if they don't do things properly.
So you want to make sure that you're warmed up properly, that you're doing everything properly. There's this general, I know you use the term body awareness, that you start to gain from golf, because suddenly you're much more aware of where my shoulders are, where my core is, how my knees are, how everything. You're thinking about it so much more.
Absolutely. And most of us spend a whole bunch of time in our head and not a lot of time in our body. So I try and join the two.
Well, I think it's going to be an amazing opportunity for people to see the pros, the people who are the best at the game, and be encouraged to try it out themselves. So the Manulife, the Classic, it starts on July the 10th.
Well, that's the tournament.
The tournament
St.
itself?
Mary's Pro-Am's July 8th.
Okay.
Corporate Pro-Am's July 10th.
And are there still spots available for that, or is that all closed
There
up
are
now?
a few spots still available for the St. Mary's one, absolutely.
Wow.
Yes.
And they can just contact you and go online and find out more about that and the tournament as a whole and get excited about golf.
Yes,
Not to mention that we've got some beautiful courses around this area.
we're very blessed.
It'll be your opportunity to see Gray Silos, just a sample of one of them, starting on the 10th. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
More daytime in just a moment. Stay with us.